Today, in continuation, the third thing I wish I had known before caregiving is to trust myself. For me, the transition from co-managing their affairs from 10 minutes away to full-on responsibility came fast. Before I knew it, I'm making decisions that would affect us all. So naturally, I'm gonna doubt myself a bit, who wouldn't? But with my mom, during the final 2 years of what I have dubbed as medical mania, there were numerous trips to the doctor, hospital, which would lead to tests and drugs, and followed by more trips to the doctor and the hospital, trips, drugs, and on and on and on it would go. And unfortunately, my mother had lost faith in herself, and I'm convinced it was also partly to do with, being over-medicated and just overstimulated from the whole experience, because out of 2 years, she was only home for 3 months, and they weren't even consecutive, So there was a lot of insanity going on during that time, and I wasn't fully able to trust myself because my mom was very convincing. She truly believed that she always needed to pick up the phone and call the doctor or rush to the hospital. And, when it was truly necessary, of course she needed to, but her decision-making was questionable at this point. So she was really doing this a lot, and I wouldn't find out about it until she was already there. And I would, once this became a pattern, I was like, Mom, we need to calm this down and just take some time and see if you can, heal a little bit before we just rush back and go through another routine of the drugs, the surgeries, the tests, and all of that. So, I couldn't affect her. I couldn't change her mind. And unfortunately, it cost her life. And so naturally, I really doubted myself at that point, because I tried so diligently to help her and save her in so many ways. But during this time, my grandmother had come to live with me full time. So, and she had given me permission to go ahead and, take care of her affairs, and that included her wellness and well-being decisions. So I immediately began a regimen of, rebuilding for my grandmother, because she had been through a lot of stress and it was affecting her, and she just had more life and energy to her than most 80-year-olds. And, we were really fighting to get her back to that. And so we went to see her physician, and, we'd had the discussion that she now lived with me and that I was very holistically minded and was dedicated to a certain lifestyle. And I would, be working to transition her into certain directions. And, we kind of worked together to do a little bit of an integrated, system that felt good for us all. And over time, I would see my grandmother improve and, the life come back to her. And we would go back and the doctor would say that whatever you're doing, keep doing it. She's improving. This is happening, lots of good things. And it was just really important to me that we, if it was possible, to cut her medication use down, because she was on like a lot, 7 medications, and she had never been on that many medications in her life, and she wanted to get off of some of it too, and some of it she could. So by the end of a dedicated couple of years, she was down to 2 medications. And of course her doctor, he knew it could be done, some of the lifestyle changes that we committed to. And so through that experience, my trust and faith in myself was rebuilt, but it took some time. But again, when all of this happened, I was pretty much, just making all these decisions for all three of us because my mom was just pretty much a mess at this point, and my grandmother was in the early stages of dementia. And I was running a business and, just a lot to deal with. But, in the end of that time period, I had more faith and trust in myself, but it took quite some time for me to get there. So, I just think that's very important for a caregiver to know that, if you have a hunch or you have a certain thought that, you might want to follow through on that and see if it takes you in a different direction. Perhaps it may help you or your loved one. So, this is just a short little story to, again, maybe inspire and help someone else along the way, because I do have a mission of lifting life, specifically your own, and then when you have your overflow, to go out and help another. Caregiving is a challenging situation, but I found it to be very rewarding also. Challenging but rewarding. So in closing today, I would just invite you to live a life. And some days it may just be your own. I know, been there so many times. But also, I want to remind you, as a caregiver, you are lifting life with love. So join me next time. Until then,